Keeping old cars like this on the road is getting harder, but not because parts aren't available, people just don't know where to look. Even with companies like Cardone disappearing, the parts that you need can still be found. So here's how you can find the parts that you need to keep these going. What the heck is going on with our parts supply? I mean, we've been seeing parts stores closing down by the hundreds in the last year or so, and companies like A1 Cardone that manufactures brake calipers, or I should say remanufactures brake calipers, master cylinders, water pumps, power steering pumps. They've remanufactured a large number of things. A1 Cardone is closing up shop, leaving a big hole in the industry. And in that gaping hole, that leaves the door open for other rebuilders. And let's be honest, sometimes when you get rebuilt parts, their quality is a little suspect. You know, it could have been a 4 p.m. on a Friday brake caliper as opposed to a solid middle of the workday kind of caliper, if you know what I mean. But the truth is that a lot of those parts can still be had through other sources in other ways. You just kind of have to think outside of the box a little bit to find them. But it's not just the rebuilders that are hurting. We're seeing the OEs like GM with AC Delco coming out and basically saying, yeah, we're not making those camera crank sensors for that, LS engine that you love so much, leaving the door open for now we need alternative supply chains. And some of my mechanic friends out there are going to say, oh, you can't use aftermarket parts, they cause drivability problems. Yep, you're right, especially when you use brands like substandard motor products. Yes, that's a joke. But the point is that the quality level of some of these, OE alternate parts may be a little bit suspect too. So, okay, now we've got supply chain with remanufactured parts are questionable, new parts are questionable. What's left? And all of this comes at a rather opportune time as manufacturers are rolling out cars with kill switches. So people are looking for old by today's standards cars, but I tell you what, I'm going 20 years further back than most. And right now people are looking at the GMT 800s and the early 2000s, late 90s going, man, I need to pick those things up. And yet some of them are finding that maybe the supply chain for the parts may not be quite as good as it used to be, but I think it's still there. The supply chain for cars like my 85 Regal or my El Camino, the supply chain's actually better for these cars than it was 20 years ago. And I also want to say that from someone who's going through it right now. I've got the interior tore out, doing a restoration on the interior. That's the headliner piece. But all of these things are actually more available than most realize. You may start to think yourself, well, gosh, maybe I need to start hoarding parts. Oh, I'm not above that. I got a stash of parts that, I've collected over time for the cars I've got, but I'm not entirely sure that's the answer yet. And here's why I say that. It's easy to see how over-the-counter parts store stuff like GM HEI modules, which are becoming absolutely notorious for failing within a very short amount of time of coming out of the box. I've experienced that myself with some AutoZone ones. There's companies like MSD, Davis Unified Ignition, DUI, Progression Ignition. These companies are making parts that you can put into these old cars that work. They work better than they did from the factory. This'll upset the purists. It may be hard to keep your car perfectly original, but you know something? In this garage, originality gets thrown out the window for working correctly and doing everything it needs to do. Now, having said that, there is absolutely nothing wrong with a totally mechanical breaker point style ignition. It's not that hard to set. You can grab a manual, and I know there's videos on YouTube about how to set those up. So basically, you've got options. You can go truly old school and dig around and find the parts you need. You can come new school and blend the old and the new and make it work right. And when it comes to things like master cylinders, a master cylinder is basically just a hydraulic pump of a sort that's lever actuated. It's getting pretty easy to go to Willwood or TBM or one of the other manufacturers of brake systems and get a master cylinder that meets the needs without touching these questionable quality rebuilt OEM replacement parts. Small block Chevy guys have known this for a very long time, but I don't remember the last time I went to a parts store to get a water pump. I've gone aftermarket every time for the last 20 years. Yes, that is a power steering system here, but I haven't had to touch it in a very, very long time. Same with the alternator. All the bracketry can be had aftermarket, or you scrounge around through a junkyard. The point is that sometimes it's becoming more common to go completely aftermarket. to make your stuff work. And just thinking about it for a moment, I think the last time I went to a parts store was for a U-joint. U-joints, it's a U-joint. There's a gazillion of them out there. There's only so many varieties of 1310, 1330, 1350, and probably some funky metric crap, but this is America, right? But the point is that I don't think I've gone to a parts store for something other than belt or a hose or a U-joint in a very long time on cars like this. You've heard the phrase, buy once, cry once? Well, that's certainly true over here. When I rebuilt the front suspension of my El Camino, and this was 20 some odd years ago, I didn't just use over-the-counter rubber bushings. I went better than OE. I used Global West Delalume bushings in this car, and you know something? That front end moves so beautifully that it's absolutely amazing. People have asked, hey, doesn't that make the ride harsh? The answer is no, because the suspension is allowed to articulate exactly as it's supposed to. So when you start looking at this stuff, look at the better than OE options, because a lot of times that is becoming the better way to go. Why have perfectly original when you can have better than original? On that better than original subject, I once knew a guy who spent considerable money chasing down an original exhaust manifold for his newer Hemi Dodge truck. Spent ridiculous money on this thing when we know those things crack like crazy. And I said, you know something? You could have put headers and built an exhaust system on that truck for less money than you just spent, and you're also going to have that same cracking problem. Yeah, he was not happy. But you know something? That perfectly uncracked exhaust manifold cracked. I said, hey, you gonna do headers now? No. So whether it's my El Camino, my Regal, my Yukon, or anything that I own, when things come due to be replaced, I'm looking at what's better than OE. And you know something? Every time I've been able to make that choice and go better than OE, it's actually worked out better in the long run. So keep that in mind. Don't just limit yourself to OE. Start looking around at what's better. Now, you may have also seen that Amazon has a huge number of parts, and people are going to like, oh no, don't buy parts on Amazon, they're junk. Let me show you something that kind of proves that otherwise. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying buy all your parts on Amazon. Buy the parts on Amazon that make sense. Take a look at this. This is a complete new weather stripping set for my Regal. I bought this on Amazon, and it was about a third the price of like OPGI. Okay, half the price of OPGI, and it came with all the seals. I'm willing to bet that the same companies that are making parts for OPGI are probably making the same stuff for everywhere else. And this one even comes with the extremely hard to find dew sweeps or the window felts. You know, for the price, it was completely worth taking the gamble on an Amazon part. So just because it comes from Amazon doesn't mean it's not good. It just means you may have to do a little bit more due diligence on it. So in the face of all these shortages, we need to look for companies that are continuing to support the enthusiast and are run by enthusiasts. I mean, let's look at companies like Texas Speed, Motion Raceworks, looking for these companies that are run by enthusiasts and building stuff to keep things going. I mean, ICT Billet. These are companies that are offering options to keep LS engines alive, offering sensors beyond just what was available from the factory. Don't just look at factory stuff. Sometimes we need to look at the next echelon and look at race grade stuff. The other thing that this whole thing is doing is forcing us to know our cars better and not just go to a catalog and go, oh, I need one of these, or go to the parts store and year, make, model, wiper blade, four-wheel drive, yes, no, all that crap. This is forcing us to know our cars a little bit better. Don't be afraid to open a catalog if you think parts don't exist. I bet they do. You just have to get a little bit creative about it. And part of what I absolutely love about these cars is every part is understandable, replaceable, improvable. And through that is the answer. So the answer is don't panic and make smarter decisions when you're working on these cars. Take a look at this video over here. You can see how I've done just that with my El Camino.